as I was doom scrolling on Ashley Trevino TikTok, I was nearly hit with a wave of PTSD when I saw the face of Perez Hilton. Growing up in the 90s, Perez Hilton was everywhere. On TV, in magazines, he was worse than TMZ in my opinion. He was one of the most insidious tabloids at the time, and he would run sort of like a blog on his website. So imagine my shock when I saw his face pop up battling against Ashley Trevino on TikTok.
Is Santos your new boyfriend?
No, he's just a boy toy.
And he's 19?
But before we get into it, welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Danielle. Please don't forget to like this video if you like content like this, subscribe to the channel if you like content like this, and hit the bell icon so you never miss content like this. So yes, I saw Perez Hilton himself battling against Ashley Trevino on TikTok, and it was just insane. Side note, I always find it so interesting and a little pathetic when washed up celebrities and influencers suddenly resurface and start e-begging on TikTok. I'm not going to name any names, Jeffree Star, Jason Nash, but anyways, back to Perez. For those unfamiliar, he used to cover celebrity news, though cover is a stretch. His brand of gossip was more like tearing people down, outing people, body shaming, sharing inappropriate photos of minors, more than it was about reporting anything of value. He practically ruined people's lives and the lives of those children of the people he would cover with his relentless harassment and bullying. And now with the Ashley Trevino situation taking over, suddenly he's claiming he's going to be the authority on Latino TikTok drama.
Hola mi gente, Perez Hilton aquí y me hace falta tu ayuda. He notado que hay muchos latinos que están saliendo en vivo ellos mismos y que están en drama. Y ustedes saben que yo quiero saber todo el chisme. Estoy tan interesado.
Perez Hilton is like a slimy little swamp creature always lurking in the shadows. And you know, neither am I the authority on who can cover what. I am not the content police like I said before. But the thing is, Perez has never showed any interest in Latino influencers before, and now, just because it's trending, he is trying to jump on the bandwagon. And you might say, oh, well, Danielle, he's Cuban, and sure, he is. But that doesn't explain why he's suddenly so eager to engage with a community that he has ignored for years. Only now that it has gone viral.
I talk about real celebrities. Like, I don't care about this Adriel person. I don't care about that Ashley Trevino person. I was using her for clout, but I'm bored already. They're not even Z-listers.
And normally I wouldn't have an issue with him covering it. And at the end of the day, I really don't. What I have an issue with is how he covers topics. Perez Hilton has always been part of that toxic media machine that loves to harass and be misogynistic, just like TMZ. He was right there in the middle of everything when Britney Spears was going through her mental health crisis. And no matter what you think or feel about her today, the way she was treated during that time was horrible. Absolutely horrible. It's just not right. And honestly, she didn't deserve that, especially when she was clearly, very clearly going through something mentally herself. And Perez relentlessly harassed her, stalked her, allegedly, and exploited her to no end.
2007 was the year of the Hollywood girls gone wild.
Britney kept you super busy.
She was by far the person I wrote about the most on my website. I mean, she began the year in style in Las Vegas, passing out at a club. Shortly after that, went to rehab, left rehab, shaved her head, attacked the paparazzi, went back to rehab, had custody issues with Kevin Federline. I'm only halfway through the year and I'm already exhausted. Had more custody issues with Kevin Federline, had a disastrous VMA performance, released an album that bombed, more custody drama. Thank you, Britney Spears. Being bad is good for my business.
Oh, I know that. So she's your number one.
By far.
Your bread and butter this year.
You could not have scripted everything that happened with Britney Spears.
Perez Hilton really seemed to have it out for Britney Spears, likely because she was his bread and butter. So she was the perfect target for his toxic brand of gossip. And not only was he a huge supporter of the conservatorship, but after Heath Ledger passed away, he even took it one step further by making t-shirts with Heath's face on them that said, "Why couldn't it be Britney?" Saying that why couldn't she have passed away rather than Heath Ledger. Perez Hilton has been called out more times than I can even count for outing people.
I was shocked to see how many people you've outed in the LGBT community. And again, we're not trying to book right now.
Yet he never seems to show any real remorse for it.
Perez Hilton getting confronted for being problematic.
Hey Perez, I want to address this with you because last week we had Lauren Jauregui at this very table to talk about the online abuse of women, and your name came up. And one of the things that bothered her the most was the photo that you tweeted, because it was almost forcing her to come out.
I don't view myself as outing her.
That picture that was in the photo booth, she never intended for that to get out.
For especially young women, sexuality is so fluid.
What is wrong with you?
I'm so serious.
You can't say for a woman, and a male, oh, well, gay man, it's different. Like, women have sex with women, like, no matter, like, that's different.
There's a lot of women who will make out with women and don't identify
that's so
as...
hurtful. Men and a lot of people in society will look at two women together and they don't legitimize our relationship because they're like, oh, girls make out with girls. It's just a college phase. Oh, yeah, girls together are hot. Like, which is what you're doing right now.
I think you can't... Sexuality is very... For a lot of
but
women,
you're a man. You're not
fluid.
A woman. You can't speak to a woman's experience.
When Perez Hilton used to run his website, he seemed to take pleasure in photographing celebrities when they were at their worst, especially figures like Perez Hilton and Nicole Richie when they were struggling with their EDs. He would post photos of them on his site, making them look even worse, making fun of their EDs, making jokes, sick jokes about them, highlighting all of their flaws and preying on their insecurities, all while pushing harmful beauty standards for the sake of clickbait.
Hilton's Hollywood is a modern Day of the Locust. Celebrities stripped of their glamour. He not only shows them warts and all, he magnifies the warts.
Sometimes there are these flawed characters that can be both hero and villain, like Britney Spears. She is better than anything I could have ever written.
Do you ever feel bad about anything you've written?
I don't regret a single thing I've ever written. And I've written some pretty harsh things. I treat the website like a soap opera. I think it's important to have heroes and villains and people that you're rooting for and against. And it's this ongoing storyline that keeps people coming back.
Among the saints, Angelina, Oprah, Madonna. The sinners, well, the list goes on and on. Tom Cruise?
Crazy.
Lindsay Lohan?
Troubled.
This next bit of information really pissed me off, but when Miley Cyrus was 17 years old, she was photographed coming out of her car. And in the photograph, you could literally see up her skirt. Let me remind you, she was 17 years old at this time. And Perez Hilton released this photo to the public. When he ran into her later, he claimed they had a heated exchange where she yelled at him saying, "What the F were you thinking?" Yet, as usual, instead of owning up to what he did, he instead made excuses for his actions.
Miley Cyrus, was she or wasn't she wearing underwear? Only her blogger knows for sure. Perez Hilton caused some controversy this week when he tweeted a provocative photo of 17-year-old Miley Cyrus in which she appeared to be going au naturel. He has since removed the image, but the fallout continues. Joining me to tell his side of the story is Perez Hilton. Hey, Perez, how are you?
Hello, good evening, Joy.
Good evening.
I'm happy to be here.
Good.
And get to speak about this for the first time.
Yes, I'm very happy to have you here to do that. Now, Miley is actually wearing underwear in the photo, as you have now pointed out, but you pixelated it. This is my information. You pixelated it in order to look like she wasn't wearing underwear. Now, why did you do that?
I didn't pick it for her to look like she wasn't wearing underwear. The point of me choosing that one photo is because it was showing Miley getting out of the car in an unladylike fashion, and I just thought that was funny and in keeping with her shocking behavior of late, because she was very well aware that she was in a public place at a video shoot and that there were paparazzi present.
Yes, but the pixelating of it made it look as though there was something there to hide. That's what it looked like.
I did not pixelate anything. I did not Photoshop anything. There's been a lot of inaccuracies being perpetuated about what happened in the media, and I just chose a photo that showed her getting out of the car. You didn't see anything down there. I can't help it, Joy, if America has a very dirty imagination.
Okay, then why did you take it down if it was so innocent?
I did not take the photo down. I didn't even post the photo on my website. I wanted to clear that up as well. I merely linked to a photo that I found on the internet on my Twitter. Then that website that I posted a link to, they're the ones that took it down. I would have posted the image on my site had I been able to, but it was taken by one photo agency that I don't have a deal with. So I've learned my mistake in the past about using photos that I don't have licenses to.
Well, I think that it was a mistake to put that picture up there. My own personal opinion, because it's one thing to show crotch shots of Paris and Britney but Miley is only 17 years old, so that there's a lot of buzz that you could possibly be charged with child pornography. I mean, what do you think about that? This is a serious issue, Perez.
I think it's insulting to children to accuse that of child pornography. If you want to look at the definition of child pornography, it is not an image like the one I posted. It is explicit behavior designed to arouse, engaged in sexual activity. You don't see anything from Miley's private parts. You just see her from an unflattering vantage view getting out of her car.
Well, but you posted the unflattering vantage view of it, and it could be considered arousing, and you could be in very deep trouble. That's the point.
Now, one of the most concerning situations was brought to my attention by a YouTube channel called Be the Commentator, who made an amazing video about Perez Hilton. I mean, the research in this video was so thorough, really, really phenomenal. I will link the video down in the description. Definitely worth watching. She explains not only this particular situation very well, plus way more that I haven't even covered in this video. So I'm going to insert the clip of her video here so that she can explain this situation. But I'm going to warn you, proceed with caution, because this next clip can be very distressing.
Upon Perez's transcendence, he would move back to New York City with his son and mother, who was now working for him. In this new era of his life, Perez was bound to turn it around and shed his over-the-top alter ego. But while appearing as a guest on the Howard Stern show, this happened. Quote, I had been living in New York with my mom and young son for almost a year, when in the summer of 2014, I was invited to take part in the Howard Stern show. During the first 5 minutes of the interview, nothing much happened. Well, nothing that shocked me anyway. Then, out of nowhere, someone on the show brought up a bet that Howard had made with Benji. I knew that Benji was part of Howard Stern's team, so I waved to him and smiled. But Benji didn't return the gesture. Instead, his eyes wandered nervously, which piqued my curiosity. Benji said that if he couldn't lose 20 pounds in a month, he had to let someone digitally penetrate him. Out of nowhere, I was asked if I could do it. The situation was completely surreal, and I thought in panic, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? I knew if you agreed to do the Howard Stern show, you knew what you were signing up for, and I felt like I had no choice but to join in. So I said yes. Still, I immediately asked a counter question of my own. Why me? We thought you'd be a good fit for the job, Howard said, but we do have a bit of a problem. The thing is, we can't do any penetration in the building. It's against the law. Perez suggested that they use his place, which was close by. Howard agreed and moved his show to Perez's apartment a few blocks away. According to Perez, once they arrived and settled in, Howard instructed Benji to take off his pants.
Perez, are you kissing his neck?
This does not feel right. Wait, is he going to get on the bed with Benji?
Right.
First, let's just look into each other's eyes.
Good. All right.
It's all going to be
You
good.
said before the show I have really nice eyes.
You have beautiful eyes.
Do you mean that or are you just saying that?
I mean that. So
Small
let's
talk.
get, I want to do everything as Howard requested. Let's get the necessities out of the way.
Perez, sneak your penis in there.
No!
Oh, shut up, Benji.
All right, go ahead.
Are they going to describe Benji's asshole as a clean?
And I'll get you ready for a minute.
Is Benji's hairy ass?
Put it in.
Does Benji have a hairy
Oh,
asshole?
we're not. Wait. I'm not even looking. Look, I'll look into your eyes. Oh, once it hits the 30-second mark. Wait, I'm trying to find his asshole.
Oh my God.
I haven't got you. I'm not.
Oh my God.
What is he doing?
Benji, what happened?
Don't do it hard!
Wait a second. Hold it. Benji, what's going on?
Be careful!
Go slow. Benji, what's going on? Benji, Gary, just stop this. I can't take it.
What is happening?
I want it stopped.
It's already done, Howard.
It's almost done.
No, it's not. It's another minute.
No, take it out.
2 minutes.
Oh my God, I can't take it. I'm sick over this.
In his book, Perez shares his thoughts on this incident, writing, quote, the team were all laughing with no compassion at all for my little sex slave. Eventually, Howard decided Benji had suffered enough, and he gestured for me to stop. I pulled out my finger with a popping sound, and Benji quickly yanked his underwear and pants back up, avoiding all our eyes. For a moment, I felt guilty, but then I decided that the entire thing was so funny that I had to stop myself from laughing as I took off the glove.
After we were done, it was as if I was on drugs. Like, I was so high from that experience. And that day, too, so many people were coming up to me and talking to me about it. Like at the gym, I had so many people stopping me. It was wild, but it was not without consequence. I was dating somebody at the time in New York City that I was very into. We had gone out on like 6 dates, and that was the most amount of dates I'd been on with somebody in 6 years or so. So as a result, I think, of that, he ended up dumping me.
Now, Perez Hilton hasn't shown a shred of guilt, self-awareness, empathy, or shame throughout his whole career. Just listen to his response when he is asked why he is such a, well, bully.
What do you think led you to that place of what we would, what we call today, really just like bullying and truly beating someone down?
I just did it for money. I'm very transparent. Wow. I did it for attention. I did it for views. That's the top line. Then if you want to dig a little deeper, it was also insecurity. It was also me thinking, gosh, this one thing that I'm doing is really resonating. It's working. So I need to do more of it and even harder.
Yeah.
So it progressively became nastier and more toxic.
Yeah.
That's how dark things often work. Like with anything, it starts off small and then it'll eat you alive.
You can really tell when Perez talks about these things, he almost gets excited. His demeanor when talking about these situations doesn't match the words he is saying. When he talks about these things, it's like he is more fueled by greed and money than any real sense of remorse. And when being interviewed, it was suggested to him that perhaps there might be some people that he might owe an apology to. And he responds with, I've forgiven myself. And guys, isn't that all that really matters? That you forgive yourself, not that the people you've harmed, you've bullied, you've harassed. It's not important that they forgive you. It is so much bigger and more important that you forgive yourself, right, guys?
I would say there's probably people from every year that you could apologize to.
Yeah.
However,
I would say I don't expect forgiveness, nor does it even matter to me, because I feel like I have redeemed myself. I have forgiven myself, which is a lot more healing or powerful. I am at peace.
Yeah.
And I am living a happy and healthy life.
Perez has this attitude that because he has changed, that he should automatically be forgiven. And I'm sorry, but it just doesn't work that way. It's as if he thinks that just because he might not be as bad as he used to be, then everything he's done in his past should just be wiped clean. But that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Growth does not erase the harm you've caused. And just because someone has claimed that they've changed doesn't give them a free pass for everything they've done before. Taking real accountability for his actions is something Perez has yet to really grasp.
I fully understand how a lot of people might say, you know what? He's not as awful as he used to be, but he's still awful.
Yeah.
Perez wants us to believe that because he has changed and because he might not be as bad as he used to be, he acts like everything should just be forgiven so he can move on and cover other topics like the Latino community. Come on, guys, let him just move on to the next thing and keep being a menace to society and keep wreaking havoc. But after he has been a menace to society for over a decade, why should he be forgiven? Because he says sorry? The damage he has done to people's lives cannot be wiped away with an oopsie, I'm sorry. Especially when he is trying to convince us that he's changed without even showing it, without proving that he's changed. His behavior really hasn't shifted much if you really watch him. It really hasn't changed all that much. And he still carries the same giggly, gossipy tone when covering sensitive topics. Like he honestly thinks this is all just a big joke. I heard him say recently that he considers himself an icon. An icon for what exactly? For gossip? For trauma? For literally ruining people's lives? He thinks that because he says he's changed, then he deserves forgiveness. But has he really changed?
Absolutely. I'm a narcissist.